it time for illegal ham in the face? But bro, where's the banjo?
Some Cleveland sports shows try to give you hot takes, but only one can give you a big old piece of hot ham. Welcome to Illegal Ham to the Face. Talking all Cleveland sports. And don't forget our Fat Boy Tuesday, where we also ham it up with some fun food topics. Without further ado, let's serve up some ham. Here are the Ham Boys, Fatty, and Big Bry.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome on in to another episode of Illegal Ham to the Face. I am Jared Fatty Bates. He is Big Bry. What is going on, big fella?
Nothing. Feeling great. How you doing?
Oh, it's nice. It was a beautiful day out today, man. It was hot, humid, windy.
A little windy. Yeah, a little windy. We caught some rain. I don't know if you got it on the way home, but I think for the most part it stayed south.
Yeah, we didn't get any rain so far, even though they're saying we might get some here in a little bit. But so far, so good. Other than that, man, if anybody's down south, hunker down because you guys had some stuff roll through that was pretty nasty.
Right.
All right, so tonight's show, we are going to dive into the Browns draft. We are going to get into the Cavaliers sweeping the Miami Heat. We are going to get into birthday cakes. Bri, we're going to do a rank them, top three rank them. We're going to rank these quarterbacks as we see as starters week one. Who is going to be the pecking order week one? It is your turn for trivia tonight, which is brought to you by City Dogs Cleveland. Bri, we have a new puppy tonight. And Bri, you're going to love this meat face that this guy has. Beth hooked me up with some of these pictures. Bri, he fits right in with this show. Let's just put it that way.
Sweet.
We have James in here. Says, hey, guys.
Oh, James.
Justin, $20 says I have a more positive outlook on the season than the draft and 75% of the fan base. That's probably.
Oh, okay. Who does he like?
I think he likes Sanders.
Okay.
I mean, we'll talk about it here in a little bit. And he said that he's talking to his aunt in West Lafayette. They do not have power. They did have one heck of a storm come through there. I saw a couple drone videos of like roofs ripped off and everything else. So prayers out to those down there.
Boy.
But Bri, it's our show. We always do it with some shout outs right at the beginning. And I will go first this week, bud. It was so nice seeing your face in person and not on camera. Shout out to Timber Lodge. We went out to dinner. Your beautiful wife, Ashley. That adorable face of Maddie's. My God. I wanted to pinch her cheeks the entire night. She is freaking adorable, Bri. And we had a great dinner. And you want to talk about a spread and some great food. If you guys have never been to Timber Lodge in Medina, go there. I had the 14-ounce Delmonico. God, it was amazing.
Yeah,
both of our wives had prime rib. Let's see here. My kids, Charlie had a burger and spaghetti. Another one loaded up double pasta. You had their steak burger, which looked fantastic.
Oh, also. Yeah. Really good. Sure was.
Miss Maddie had her first taste of anchovies, which was quite entertaining. Yeah. And you got a cinnamon beer. How did that taste, by the way?
I mean, it wasn't bad. It wasn't anything I'd order again. I can't remember the name of it. Was it Cinnamon Crunch or something like that?
Yeah, it was like Cinnamon Crunch something.
Yeah. Yeah, so it wasn't bad. And the first one I got was probably better. I can't remember what that one was, though, either.
But yeah, it was, Bri, that place was amazing.
Good stuff. Yeah,
and
for sure.
I'll tell you what, Bri, I told you there at dinner, I base my steaks on if I have to put sauce on them or not. Man, that steak was cooked perfectly. And man, did it melt in your mouth. And the girl's prime rib. My God, Bri, that prime rib looked amazing too. Like they hooked it up. And thank God for your wife for ordering the mushrooms.
Were those good?
Oh, dude, those were fantastic. I love those things. Even the kids had a couple.
She raves about them. Yeah, she says they're good.
Oh my God, just a great night. And I thank you, bud, for pointing that place out to us. And definitely have to go back. I mean,
it's,
yeah, it is. And like you said, we got to get there at a certain time or it's going to get busy. Man, did it get busy when we got there. And by the way, the 6-pound piece of carrot cake that we took home with us, Brian, Jesus,
Good?
God.
Is it good?
Yeah, Hope and the boys ate on it for like 2 days. But Justin, I don't know if you're a fan of carrot cake, but the wedge was this big, like in the big styrofoam containers that they get you to take home. It took up the entire styrofoam container. That's how big this piece was. I was like, jeez.
Looked good.
They hit it pretty good when they got home. So thank you, bud, for that. Do you have any shout out?
No shout outs from me. Had an awesome time on Saturday. The only thing I was wishing was there was a Cavs game or something that we could take in that wasn't at 1:00. But hey, maybe next series. I think we're hopefully done with the 1:00 games, and hopefully we're done with the NBA TV games. So something to enjoy. Looking forward to.
By the way, I didn't miss that NBA TV game. They had it on Fox Sports or FanDuel Network or whatever the hell it is.
Did they really? Okay.
Yeah,
good.
I got to watch that one. But yeah, tired of the 1:00 games. I'm tired of not being prime time anymore because, as you'll find out here in a little bit, Cavs are prime time right now. And Brian, man, oh man, I was wrong about this series. I'll even admit I was wrong about this series. And we'll get into that here in a little bit. But let's do our trivia, which is brought to you by City Dogs Cleveland, Bri. I will play our sounder. It is your turn for trivia tonight. And we do have a new puppy from City Dogs Cleveland and some announcements from City Dogs. First off, okay, I keep getting pop-ups. I don't need to see this crap. Okay, there we go. First off, City Dogs Cleveland wants to thank everybody that has come out, volunteered, and helped out. They want us to promote I believe it's June 7th, is the 5K run or walk. A lot of sponsors going on there. Also, May 31st, Top Dog Tailgate, WJ Lodge, Berea, $25 for tickets. You can bring a mac and cheese, submit it for the mac contest, but it is cornhole, it is flip cup, it is a lot of Browns fans just getting together, drinking, having a good time for a great cause, which is City Dogs Cleveland. Now, Bri, I told you I had a special treat for you tonight with this goober of a face. All right, You ready for this? This gentleman is named Wyatt. He is 3 years old. Take a look at this goober. Does he not fit in with this? I'll wait for the X face. And yep, cheesing it up right there. And Bri, yep, that fits right in with this group right here.
Wow.
Where's the other one that I thought was hilarious? Yeah, he actually had some really good pictures. Yeah, there's the Paul up. Look at him.
Oh, he's adorable.
Yeah, you can adopt him at City Dogs Cleveland. He is a 3-year-old pup. I think they said he weighs around 70 pounds. He's a big boy. But look at that monster head. God, I told my wife, I was like, if we could have another dog, I would want that one. Just
you go.
The look on his face. Taco tailgate. I didn't know. No taco tailgate.
Oh, that could be a thing. We should start that up.
We should start that up. And Justin said, "Happy Kentucky Derby week." I forgot it was running of the horses.
Right.
Week. So
yeah, I just read an article today that the late great Toby Keith has a horse going. So I'll probably put some credits down on that one.
We should have wore our hats tonight. We should have gone all out with hats tonight.
That's a woman. Guys don't wear hats, do they?
It doesn't matter. I would wear the biggest hat in this show. Just
it's not too late. I can filibuster if you want to go grab one.
I don't think I have one that big, though. Oh, well. All right, Brian, it's your turn for trivia. What do you got for me tonight, brother?
Well, the Browns traded the number 2 pick. And if memory serves me correct, I don't know if they've ever picked second. Last time they had it, they traded it to Philadelphia for Carson Wentz. So I was going to ask you the 4 times the Browns have had the number 1 pick, who'd they pick, but I thought that'd be too easy. So we're going to go the other direction. The Browns have picked a player at number 3 times since 1999.
Mm-hmm.
So tell me those 3 guys, and if you get 2 out of 3, I'll give it to you.
All right. I know one off the hand. One right off the bat.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
I believe. The other 2 are going to be, are they within our lifetime?
Oh, yeah, since 99. Since 99. They've
All
picked
right.
3 guys at number 3.
3 guys at number 3. All right. Why am I drawing a blank on one of them?
Well, you got all show to think about it.
All right. Yeah, I got you. A lot of guys wear fedoras. We can wear a fedora. I look great with fedora.
I don't think I own a fedora.
I think I'd look fantastic in one, especially with a cigar hanging on my mouth, man. That'd be perfect.
Go for it.
So I have to get a fedora for next week and a cigar. And I'm just going to have to tell my wife she's going to deal with it while I smoke it on the show next week.
Hey,
all right.
I love the Derby. I think it's a lot of fun. You know, it just sucks that it's so much build up to 2.5 minutes of action. I mean, the build up is insane.
It's like a whole day of build up, and then it's like, okay, the race is over. All right.
Yeah. Never been. I would love to go. My brother and my cousin went down there. Got to the infield. I went the week before one time down to Louisville. And it was great. Hardly anybody was there, so we were right on the finish line, but just 1 week before, so nobody really cared about it.
That's all right. It doesn't matter, Brian.
Cool place, yeah. If you're ever in Louisville, go check out Churchill Downs. Bucket list place.
Justin said it's a month-long party.
I believe it. Oh, absolutely.
I can believe it. I'll be down there. All right, Brian, let's get into Cleveland headlines and let's get our show rocking because, man, oh, man, what a show we got tonight. Let's go. Brian, first off on the Cleveland headlines tonight, we're going to talk some good news with the Cleveland Cavaliers. Swept the Miami Heat. And, Brian, I'm going to say it right now. It wasn't even fucking close. I mean, it wasn't close at all. The Cavs came out and just dominated this whole series. And it wasn't – I thought Miami would give them like a little pushback, and they tried to in like the second game. But after that, the Cavs just, I mean, imposed their will on them. Like you and I were texting last night. Brian, at one point in time last night, it was 30-8 in the first quarter. 30-8. Like, it was unreal. The stat that I love the most hearing this, Brian, is this series, these past 2 games of the Cavs and Miami Heat, leads the NBA in point differential. 92 points for these past 2 games is the differential between the Cavs and the Miami Heat. And Brian, they came out and it was everybody. It was Ty Jerome. It was DeAndre Hunter. It was Mitchell. It was Mobley. It was Allen. I think Allen had a double-double in the first quarter. You and I were talking about it right there for a while.
Almost, right?
I mean, I wasn't expecting this, Brian. I was expecting like a little bit of a battle, maybe a little pushback from Miami. But this Cavs team is seriously locked in and loaded. And I can't wait to see who we face next. And it's either going to be the Pacers or the Bucks. But, Brian, what did you take away from this series?
Yeah, I mean, the Cavs, once again, exceeding our expectations. And I think learning from what happened last year. The blowing out the Magic in games 1 and 2, and then kind of thinking you won the series, and then it turns into a 7-game set and one that goes down to the wire. No messing around this time. It's almost like they took it up a notch when they went to Miami and games 3 and 4. They said, "No, we're not messing around." I think I heard a stat today that it's the most lopsided 4-game series in the history of the NBA. which is saying like, so we beat them worse than any other team has beat another team in the playoffs. So it's just wild. Part of me, I mean, I don't know. You have to give the Cavs credit first and foremost, but also I think something's up with the Heat. And now I think they're the first 10 seed to ever make like the actual playoffs, to actually make the 4-game series. So could it be part of that? Yeah. I mean, and they lost their best player halfway through the year. So I feel like they kind of were stacking wins early. And then after they traded Butler, after Butler checked out, then they kind of really took a step back. But I haven't looked at their month by month record to really confirm that. But yeah, I mean, yeah, how could you not give the Cavs a ton of credit? Because, you know, and like you said, I feel like we won these games by such a huge amount, and we still didn't really even have or maybe need a game. Because you look at who's our best player, Donovan Mitchell. You know, it's not like he was scoring 30, 35, 40 points a game. And it's not like our second or third best player, Darius Garland, was absolutely tearing it up too. We didn't even have Darius Garland the last 2 weeks or the last 2 games. So it's just, I don't know how you couldn't be incredibly impressed with what the Cavs are doing. And like I said, if you want to make the argument that the Heat are just terrible, then, you know, I don't know enough about the Heat and what they're doing to really argue that with you. I just know the Cavs are playing on another level right now. And that's maybe a key phrase right now. They need to, it's a fantastic start. You give them an A+ for the regular season. You give them an A+ for this first series against the Heat. And I mean, it's a make miss league. It's a what have you done for me lately league. You have to keep it going. And I like that still, even after this performance, nobody's really giving the Cavs a ton of credit. I mean, a lot of people are saying, well, yeah, you know, we kind of knew the Cavs were the third best team, and we still kind of view them as the third best team in the NBA. So, yeah, I mean, they're not giving you credit. So I like having that chip planted firmly on our shoulders. And, yeah, it looks like it's going to be the Pacers going forward. And I think the Pacers, regardless of what seed they are, I think they're the third. A lot of people think they're the third best team in the East. And so it's going to be a challenge for us. I'm excited for that series because I think that's really where we can prove, you know, that we've taken the next step. And don't forget the Pacers were the team that made it to the Eastern Conference Finals last year against the Celtics. So they've been further than the Cavs have been. So that should be, you know, something for us to strive for, to beat this team, take down this team that has been to the level where we strive to be. So can't wait. You know, I'm sure we're going to have to wait probably 5 days for the series to start. Saturday, is that right?
Yeah, Saturday at the earliest. Now, if the Milwaukee-Indiana game goes longer, then, you know, so, I mean, we got a handful of days, but also you get some rest, Brian. What I loved about this matchup, and Brian, we've talked about, everybody talks about in the NBA, there is a Miami flu. When you go down to Miami, there's always one game that you kind of give back to Miami because everybody's not locked in. It's Miami. You want to go out to the club. You want to go out. Brian, they were locked in the entire time down there. And I can't say enough about Ty Jerome. I can't say enough about Colby Altman going out and get DeAndre Hunter to kind of pull this team into what it is now. And Brian, it is a team because they're showing you now that they are 8-9 deep when most people are only 3 or 4 deep. They're showing you that they can bring a bench in the second wave and they don't let up. Ty Jerome did not let up. DeAndre Hunter did not let up. Mobley was just popping threes off, which shocked the crap out of me. He just stepped right into one. I'm like, okay, here we go. I mean, just watching this team and how they're actually playing together in the playoffs, it reminds me of the beginning of the year when they had Boston and they blew out Boston by like 40 points. You know, remember that game where they had they were up
we blew out Boston by 40?
So they came out and they just smoked Boston one of the games. Boston came back eventually, but the Cavs just came back and just started going nuts on them. And it was like
Huh.
pretty much a coast the rest of the way. They're pretty much owning the first quarter. And this series alone, the first quarter they own like 30-8. I think the next one was like 32-11. The next one was like they're getting out and running right out of the gate, and they're just not stopping once they do. And it was nice seeing Donovan Mitchell locked in that entire game, Bri, even playing defense late in the game. Now, I was kind of like third quarter, I'm like, all right, let's get the starters out of here. They don't need to be in here right now. Let's get some of these guys out. I don't want to get an injury. But the other thing I'm liking is on the other side of this bracket, Bri, Boston's in a dogfight right now with Orlando. And they are bloodied, bruised, and hurt. Now, yes, they can still heal up all the way to the Eastern Conference Finals. And I'm not saying that we got a tough matchup with Indiana, but watching Boston go through the tough series that they're going with Orlando makes me feel a little bit better that Boston's getting tested right now, and they're getting pushed around, and they're getting physical. And they might not be 100% when they see you if they get to the Eastern Conference Finals.
Yeah, there's no guarantee for any of these teams. So that's that. I think to say the Cavs don't have a chance, I think you're just not being realistic. They absolutely have a chance, even if both teams are fully healthy. I think we kind of talked about last week that Ty Jerome could absolutely be a difference maker in that Boston series. He's somebody we didn't have last year. He's somebody who can create instant offense, can go off for a 15-point quarter or something and just completely flip the game, and if they have no answers for him. So that's what I'm very excited to see. But yeah, I think going back to the Miami series, the Cavs, I don't even feel like the Cavs were tested hardly at all. I mean, like, I don't even know if did they even trail after the first quarter ever, like in the entire series?
I don't think so. I know game 2, Miami held with them for a while, and then they pulled it out there at the end. But that was the closest game out of this entire series was game 2. I mean, game 3 was a blowout, and game 4 was it was embarrassing.
Oh, yeah. It was a party from the beginning. I think we talked yesterday. I've been kind of late to some of these games because, Davey's bedtime's about 7:30. So I kind of late to the game, and I was watching the score yesterday, and like you said, it was 30-8 before I finished feeding her and putting her to bed. And after that, I'm like, then it grows to 25-point lead, 30-point lead. I'm like, well, I might as well just go to bed and get a decent night's sleep than watch this blowout. Certainly, I didn't think it was going to balloon up to what we were up 60 at one point.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, bad. Yeah, we can celebrate that, and we should. The Cavs should take a victory, 2 victory laps for that effort. But an NBA team, especially a playoff team, I don't think they ever really lose by 60 unless they just kind of pack it in. But yeah, so it's going to be interesting to see at what point, and hopefully, but not hopefully, because we want to have another blowout series, but we're going to be faced with adversity at some point, most likely in the Indiana series where we're losing by 5 or 10 or something. And it's going to be interesting to see how we handle that. That's the time when you lean on your stars to go make plays for you. So again, we don't really have any questions about Donovan Mitchell and what he can do. We do, I think, still have questions about some of these other guys until, they're placed in a tense situation where we need a bucket, where we need a stop, where they get an open 3 and they have to knock it down. So that's what I'm going to be looking for is, just how we respond, because let's be honest, they haven't been faced with a ton of adversity this entire season, really. I mean, other than like the Boston games, I feel like all the Boston games were kind of close. And so, when you're taking on a team like that and It's a championship team. It's a playoff atmosphere. You start to feel it a little more. So I think that prepares you for it a little bit. But yeah, I think it would probably be best for the Cavs moving forward if they did have some close games and they did battle and scrap and fight through, being down 5 or 7 or 8 points in the second half and just, build their confidence. Because, Mobley's going to shoot threes with confidence when you're up 30 points. Darius Garland is going to throw a behind-the-back pass confidently when you're up 20 points or something like that. It's a turnover, whatever. We're still going to lose or we're still going to win by a bunch. So, in those pressure situations, I think we need to start stacking those on top of each other. So when we do get to Boston and it is getting down to the last couple minutes, I think, they have some confidence that they've done it before.
Now, before we move on to the wonderful NFL draft, Bri, has your expectations changed for this team?
They really haven't.
Okay.
And again, to reiterate, my expectations are we get to a game 6 against Boston. Those are my expectations. Those are not what I hope the Cavs can do. That's not what I think the ceiling for the Cavs will be. But if we don't at least get to a game 6 against Boston, I will think this season is a disappointment. As crazy as it is to say, that's where I'm at. They've set the bar high, with the regular season, and especially with this first round sweep. But again, what was it? Ric Flair who said, "To be the champ, you got to beat the champ."
Yeah.
And until we do it, until they prove to me that we can do it, I got to see it first.
All right. Well, stay tuned. Like I said, Saturday, the earliest. We'll put out a message on all of our socials. Bri, the Browns draft went off on Thursday night, and you and I were texting pretty much the entire night. Bri, they did not draft Travis Hunter like we thought they would, but they did get a haul for the number 2 pick. So they ended up getting a first rounder next year, traded back to 5, got a second round pick and a 4th round pick. And now that second round pick, I consider a first round pick too, because it was 36. So with this dropping back, they ended up drafting Mason Graham, your boy from the University of Michigan. There it is. And Bri, everybody's like, what are they doing? Like, it's a defensive tackle. Well, if you do not know, the Cleveland Browns haven't drafted a great defensive tackle in a while. Now, is Mason Graham going to be Aaron Donald? No, I don't think so. But he is going to be a 10, 11-year veteran for this team. He is going to be a solid pick. That is like the most solid pick that I think you could have got there with what they got with Mason Graham, because I do think that he's going to help out this defense, Bri, and he might turn into an Aaron Donald type. But what I see him as, and everybody asks me like my opinion on it, Bri, I compare him to a Joe Bitonio. He's going to get a couple Pro Bowls. He's going to have a long career. Is he going to be a Hall of Famer? Maybe, maybe not. But he's going to be a solid player for some time. What do you think about that pick?
Yeah, I've heard people say, and I don't know if it's because either A, they're pissed off that they took a Michigan guy, or B, they're pissed off that they traded back, saying, Mason Graham better be Aaron Donald. Aaron Donald's probably the best defensive tackle to ever play the game. So I don't hear Tennessee Titans fans saying, well, Cam Ward, he better be Tom Brady. Ashton Genty better be Barry Sanders. Like, these are one of one guys. Yeah. So, I mean, to me, if Mason Graham can make the Pro Bowl 3-4 times in his career, it's a successful pick. If he can be one of the top, and I think he can. And I'm wearing the Michigan shirt. Obviously, he's my guy, but I've told you before, I don't think he's like all world. I don't think he's Jalen Carter. I don't think he's like Warren Sapp or anything, but he's a solid player. He's still very young. He just turned 21, so very young. I mean, he was a staple on one of the best defenses in college football for the last 2 years, but he is almost the exact opposite of what Travis Hunter is. Like, everyone's getting so excited for Travis Hunter. He's all this flash. We've never seen this type of player ever before. And to get your hopes up, we're going to get that guy, to we're going to get a run stuffer, a guy to plug up the middle, a guy to cause havoc, not get a whole lot of sacks, but cause havoc in the middle and keep our linebackers clean. And, you're probably not going to notice a lot of what he actually does. Yeah, I understand. That's a tough pill to swallow for Browns fans. So I think had this trade occurred in January, I think the reception to it would be completely different.
Oh yeah,
because nobody was saying in January, "Oh, Travis Hunter, I can't believe we're going to get Travis Hunter. He's so great." But the hype and everything over the last, I'd say, 3 or 4 weeks has really built up to like, Travis Hunter is the greatest thing ever. And I think the Browns had something to do with that. They're trying to sell it to these other teams. You need Travis Hunter. He's unbelievable. He's once in a lifetime type player. And the Jaguars bought what they were selling. Travis Hunter is a pretty good receiver and a really good cornerback. How that's going to translate to the NFL, I don't know. We talked last week, even when we were buying the hype, he's not Justin Jefferson coming. This isn't Jamar Chase coming out. He's a really good receiver, and receivers don't go number 2 very often. So, I mean, let's not forget why they really did it. They really did it for next year's number 1 overall or number 1 Jacksonville pick. They did it so next year they have 2 swings at the plate for hopefully a top 3 pick, top 4 pick, be it the Browns pick or be it the Jaguars pick, to try to get that franchise quarterback. So that's what it's really about. And this year, let's be honest, you got all that haul. You got Quinshon Judkins. You got next year's number 1 to drop down 3 spots.
Yeah.
And to get, instead of you getting Mel Kiper's number 1 overall prospect, you got Mel Kiper's number 3 overall prospect. So, I mean, the national people that know the draft really say that the Browns fleeced them. The Browns got a haul to drop down a couple spots and potentially get a top 10 pick again next year when the draft is going to be much better. So I think it was just a gut punch, because we went from this exciting player, once in a lifetime player, never been done before, to this kind of boring player. So yeah, it's a hard pill to swallow, but I really do believe it's probably best for the franchise. And I mean, both you and I said as recently as maybe a month ago, 3 weeks ago, hey, we still think the best thing for the Browns to do is to trade down. But we just never believed that anybody would be wanting to trade up, because we weren't getting Cam Ward. There were no other quarterbacks in this draft. Nobody's going to trade up for anything but a quarterback. But the Browns found a way to do it. So I have to give them mad props for doing that.
There's rumblings coming out from everywhere that this trade was in the process for about a month, Bri. And they were trying to just hammer out the details. Bri, little click on the light. You're starting to get dark.
Yep.
And boom, there he is. But I liked what they did, Bri, because it was a need that they addressed. Now, the next picks we'll get into here a little bit. I think it was a solid pick for them. It was a solid pick. It was a pick that is not going to be sexy. It's like you said, you did great with analogies. Of like, last week when we were like, well, you could have this or you could have this. Bri, the way I see it is you could either go to Hyde Park, get a $150 steak, or you can go to Outback and get the same steak. And the taste might be a little different, but still going to get the right flavor. You're still going to get, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just a different taste. And it reminds me of the Julio Jones draft when we traded out to get Phil Taylor. Was that
See,
the
I don't
Julio
think.
Jones draft?
Yeah, but I don't think. I think Mason Graham's a much better prospect than Phil.
Oh
Remember, we
no,
got
no,
Phil
and
Taylor. We got Phil
I know,
Taylor in the 20s,
no, I know,
and
but I mean, it
Julio
just
Jones. Julio Jones coming out wasn't Julio Jones, the however many time Pro Bowler. He was the second. He was the second wide receiver taken in that draft. It's not like he was a top 2 pick or anything. AJ Green went before him, so Julio
Mhm.
Jones was pretty good. But we traded from 6 to 20 something. So to me, that's different than trading 2 to 5. And Travis Hunter, if he's just a wide receiver, he's a pretty good wide receiver. But because he has that cornerback capability, that's why people think of him as such a higher stock.
All right, well, let's get into the second round, Bry. Second round, at 33, they drafted this kid from UCLA. I'm not even going to try to pronounce his name. Linebacker from UCLA. Bry, I didn't even know anything about this guy. I not even on my radar or nothing, and they took him 33. And I was like, I even texted you. I'm like, who the hell is this guy? Now, he is a walk-on. He finally played a full starter role last year, but I guess the kid's a tackling machine. And Brian, we've needed a linebacker. Hopefully he can step in. What do you think of that pick?
I thought it was pretty good. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people, unless the Browns are drafting, a guy from your favorite team or a quarterback or a running back, most of the time you don't know who these guys are. You might have heard of such and such guy, but learning more about him. And one thing before I go forward with analysis on all these picks, one thing that was kind of consistent with every pick the Browns made that I noticed was production in college. They weren't drafting guys who could be a top prospect at the next level, but were just kind of pretty good in college. They were drafting guys who were elite in college. Like I said, Mason Graham being, the centerpiece for these great Michigan defenses. This kid, I think Schlesinger, led the country in tackles. Not second, not fifth, not 12th, the leader in tackles for the whole country. Judkins, before he came to Ohio State and split time with Henderson, I think he was the SEC Player of the Year, or Offensive Player of the Year, maybe, or maybe first team. Yeah, maybe first team All SEC. Same thing goes with Sampson, the other running back we got. He was the SEC Offensive Player of the Year. So, like, you start to see these patterns here. Like, Harold Fannin Jr. led the country in receptions at Bowling Green. Like, these guys had elite, in a lot of cases, elite stats, even though Mason Graham didn't have a ton of stats. Elite stats. Dylan Gabriel, the quarterback for the number 1 team in the country most of the year. All these guys were elite, putting up elite numbers in college and have the production to back up, where they were drafted. But you just don't know how that translates to the NFL. I hope it does, but part of me thinks this may be like lazy scouting. Like, you and I could have drafted these players. We just go and look, who led the nation in tackles? Oh, let's get that guy. Oh, this guy had a ton of receptions. Why is he falling to the 3rd round? Let's go draft that guy. So, I don't know. They'll either be duds or they'll be geniuses, because I feel like it was a pretty easy strategy to have going into a draft, as much time as they put into scouting these prospects. But going back to Schlesinger, I think they needed a linebacker. Not knowing what this doesn't say many great things about JOK and what his future is, but I think I was watching the NFL Network coverage at the time, and they said after Philadelphia drafted a linebacker from Alabama at the end of the 1st round, and once that guy went, this Schlesinger was the next best off the ball linebacker, like middle linebacker. After those 2 guys, there's a huge drop off. So I think they saw an opportunity. They said, hey, we need a linebacker. This guy's a true linebacker. He's not an edge. He's a stand-up linebacker that can make a bunch of tackles. After this guy, we really don't like anybody else, and we have to, like, I'm sure they got a ton of calls for 33 to move back, but they just said this is a guy that we can't pass on because there's just nobody else kind of like him that's going to be available when we pick next. So, hey, he needs to bulk up a little bit, but yeah, I don't mind the pick.
All right. So after that, we have, like you said, Quinshon Judkins. Then it was, I believe, it was Fanning after that, and then Sampson. So with those three, Bry, those are definitely needs, and not like a little bit of needs, glaring needs. Obviously, Bry, I hate to say this, and I hate to say this to everybody, but with this draft, kind of closes the door on Nick Chubb coming back to the Cleveland Browns. I hate to say
I
it.
hold out hope. I still hold out hope.
Everybody can hold out hope all they want to, but I think that he needs a fresh start. I think that the Cleveland Browns need to kind of move forward. And I'm not saying he is not just one of the greatest guys in the world, Bri, but I don't see, after drafting two running backs, both within multiple picks of each other, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't see them bringing back Nick Chubb. They still have Jerome Ford that's in there. You're bringing in Judkins is going to be pretty much the bell cow, and then Sampson is that scat back that just I love those two picks. And Bri, I love the Fanning pick, and I wasn't 100% on the Fanning pick because I was like, man, what is it? It's a kid from Bowling Green. It's a tight end, and then you start to watch some of his game film, Bri. It reminds me of Njoku before he got bigger. Like, it was like he's a skinnier version, but he is a run after catch threat as a tight end. Like, he'll need some work blocking, but you can also put him at wide receiver. You can also put him in the backfield. Like, he did everything for Bowling Green, and I love the upside of that pick. And plus, Bri, he's 20 years old. He's only 20 years old. So I love that pick. And then we'll get into the quarterbacks here a little later. But, I mean, did you like the two running backs in the Fanning pick?
Yeah, I did. I think a lot of people at the start of the second were screaming for, and by people I mean Ohio State honks, wanted TreVeyon Henderson. But I feel like the Browns... Yeah, well, I feel like TreVeyon Henderson's skill set matches up more with like what a Jerome Ford does. You know, being that guy to catch the ball out of the backfield, being the big play guy, the guy with speed and space. Whereas Judkins, I think, is more like Nick Chubb. You know, run between the tackles, maybe one cut and plow a guy over. Like, we needed that bigger back because we just didn't have that. So I do like the Judkins pick. There's still part of me that thinks, I wonder, you know, and there's no way of knowing, but I wonder if the Browns maybe would have regretted the Judkins pick once they saw Caleb Johnson from Iowa was still available in the third round when they were picking, and then, you know, Sampson in the fourth round that they had to take. Like, had they known that those two guys would have been available at those spots, might they have passed on Judkins? But I don't know. They might have loved him so much that they just were elated to take him. So yeah, I mean, revisionist history that way. I think Judkins is going to be a solid. You know, he's had success pretty much wherever he's gone. I think, you know, for basically the last 3 years, he's been like a big time back in a big time program. So some people said the reason he went to Ohio State was so he could like kind of give his body a bit of a break and split some time with another really good running back in TreVeyon Henderson. So he didn't take the pounding at Ohio State like he did at Ole Miss. So, I mean, that's good news for the Browns, especially playing in the AFC North. You need fresh legs. So, yeah, I mean, you said it kind of closes the book on Nick Chubb. I mean, you're probably right. But I hold out hope because, you know, having Nick Chubb and Henderson, or Nick Chubb and Judkins and Sampson, I mean, That'd be so much fun to watch. Give each guy like 7 or 8 carries, and it's not like quarterback where you just have one guy. You can rotate these guys in. So, but I'm sure Nick Chubb wants to be close to a feature back. Excuse me, at some other place. So yeah, I'm good with it. I'm good with the Judkins pick. The Fannin pick, I like as well. He's not the biggest guy. I think he's only 6'2", maybe 6'2.5". I've heard comparisons to Antonio Gates. Maybe that's just because they both played in the MAC, so maybe it's easy to make that up. Well, I guess Gates only played basketball, but it's kind of easy to make that comparison. But his production is there. When he took on these top teams like Penn State and Texas A&M, he put up ridiculous numbers against those top teams. So you like seeing that. He's a guy that you're not going to really count on a ton this first season. If he can give you something, that's great. But part of me, I like the pick. Don't get me wrong, but kind of the glaring thing that the Browns didn't do was get a wide receiver. And I don't know if they just didn't like any of the wide receivers. Like they signed Deontay Johnson.
Yeah, what do you mean? They signed Deontay Johnson, buddy.
And they kind of put some sort of tender on Elijah Moore to where if he doesn't sign like in the next 2 weeks, he's coming back to Cleveland. So they must just not have liked anybody. What's that?
I think it's Thursday. If he doesn't sign with anybody by Thursday.
I think it's next week, maybe next Thursday.
Okay.
I heard May something.
Because that means the Browns have him for $3.6 million.
Yep. Yeah. So I mean, that's not Deontay Johnson. Who knows what he gives you? I'm not going to rag on him because he's a Toledo guy, but he's kind of been a head case over the last year and a half, 2 years.
No.
But yeah, so I mean, your wide receiver room's not going to be great, but we definitely needed a second tight end, and so I know there are a lot of people that were excited to have Fannin here. I think it's a Canton guy, maybe. So having him and then Sampson, I think you probably would have preferred not to take Sampson, to take a different position. But I think, as we'll talk about with the quarterbacks, I think it gets to a certain point where the talented player drops so far, you're like, well, we already got a guy, but this guy is super talented. I don't think we can pass him up. It's kind of like the best player available, to where this guy fell far enough. He's really high on our board. We can't pass up this type of talent, even though it really doesn't make sense for us to take him. We have to take him because he's that good. So I think that's where they were at with Sampson.
All right. Now this is where, Bri, I believe our draft took a turn. Now, first part of the draft, Bri, I'm going to give him an A. That's just, and it's a grade now. We'll find out in like 3 or 4 years. It's just, but I like what they did with the first 5 picks. And then there is Dylan Gabriel, Bri, Oregon quarterback. He's 38 years old. He's 5'2". I don't understand that pick whatsoever, because there were still quarterbacks on the board that were ranked higher than him. And it just floored me, because I'm like, we're really drafting another 5'10" quarterback. And you know something? You've got me on that train. Like, I started screaming at the TV. I'm like, he's 5'6" and shrinking. Like, I didn't like the pick. I really don't like the pick. And then, Bri, the most bizarre thing happened is we trade back up. And hey, if you can look on the GM's face, the head coach's face, when that pick came in, our good old boy Jimmy, hey, pick him here. It's time. Pick him here. Bri, we drafted 2 quarterbacks this draft. And I'm like, why? If we're going for a quarterback next draft, why would you waste the pick on a quarterback there when you already have a Kenny Pickett, a Joe Flacco, and you did draft Dylan Gabriel, but now we got the circus act of Shador Sanders coming here, did it not show you that he dropped all the way to the 5th round, that the NFL did not want Shador Sanders? Brian, I didn't get the 2 quarterback picks. Like, I can understand one of them. Like, if you're going to pick one, That's fine. You can pick one. But 2 of them, and you have no more picks after that? Like, what the hell was that?
I think it was a similar situation to drafting 2 running backs.
Shut up. Don't you start that.
Oh, absolutely. Shit. What do you mean? What do you mean? You got your guy first, and then the guy you picked second was just too great of a talent to pass him up. Like you said, maybe Jimmy Haslam came in and said, hey.
There was no maybe about it.
Yeah, so I think that's what happened. Dylan Gabriel's their guy. They had a chance. They chose between Gabriel and Sanders. They chose Gabriel. And then Sanders falls, and he falls, and he falls, and he continues to fall. And, either the Browns had a come to Jesus moment where they said, hey, we've been wrong so many times. Maybe this guy who we really don't like, maybe he can actually be good. Yeah. Kind of like the Seinfeld episode. If everything I do is wrong, the opposite of that must be right. And so either they had that, or more than likely, Haslam was like, and I don't blame Haslam at all. Hey, it's a 5th round pick. Andrew Berry, every 5th round pick you've ever made has not turned into anything. So if we blow this pick, who cares? It's not really worth anything. And it's another swing of the. Most people thought Shador Sanders is at least a top 50 pick in the draft, top 50 talent in this year's draft, if not more. So to get him in the 5th round, I wasn't screaming at my TV for us to draft him at 2 or 5 or even in the 2nd round. But to get him in the 5th round, why not? I think now here's where I have an issue is you now have 4 quarterbacks. You can't probably play them all, or they won't play them all. They should. So who do you give these reps to? To me, you have to give them to the young guys. And that's going to, really upset a lot of Browns fans. Joe Flacco, to me, is the odd man out. This year is all about our future, all about our finding our franchise quarterback going forward. You have 3 young guys who the Browns have said, these are our guys who might be able to develop into something. And Joe Flacco, if I feel like you're just spinning your wheels with Joe Flacco, he's going to be a great time. He's going to give you a lot of fun for the 2025 season, but it's really going to stunt the growth of these other quarterbacks. So, the Dylan Gabriel pick, going back to that, is, I don't think anybody, and it believe me when I tell you, it scares the crap out of me for next year's draft. That these guys scouted all these quarterbacks and they said, Dylan Gabriel's our guy. Dylan Gabriel's our guy. We got to get this Dylan Gabriel guy
over Will Howard, over
Shador,
over like a lot of people had him ranked like there's 11 quarterbacks in the draft. A lot of people had him ranked 9th or 10th as a quarterback in this draft.
We just had to have him in the 3rd round. Scares the absolute crap out of me that the 2 guys that the Browns have the most conviction about this offseason are Kenny Pickett and Dylan Gabriel.
Hey,
and the guy in the past that they drafted, Dorian Thompson-Robinson. Like, oh my gosh, that scares me. Like, the only hope that I have going forward to next year is they have just a no-brainer, like a Joe Burrow. If we pick number 1 in the draft, we get a Joe Burrow who's like the consensus number 1 overall pick. Or like last year where there's 3 top guys. If we pick 3rd, 2 guys go ahead of us, we're stuck with the 3rd. Like, Dylan Gabriel, I don't know anything about him. Nothing personal, man, but there's not a chance in anything that he turns into even a Sam Darnold. There's a 0% chance he turns into a Sam Darnold. But what scares me also is the Browns are stubborn. We know this about their draft picks. They're stubborn. They, like I said, they've given Dylan Gabriel and Kenny Pickett. They're going to give them chance after chance after chance because, especially Andrew Berry, Kevin Stefanski, they want to prove that he's better than Shedeur Sanders. He's better than Jimmy Haslam's pick. So he's going to get all the opportunity, not Shedeur Sanders. And so, yeah, it's just this year is going to be a tough year. But if it's up to me, I give Gabriel and Sanders all the reps. I give them all the reps. Figure out if one of these guys is worth a damn going into the 2026 season. If they're not, okay, we get first-round draft pick quarterback next year. If they are, great. Now we have 2 first-round picks next year to waste on anything else, a wide receiver and an offensive tackle or something like that. So I think that's what this season needs to be about. And if they think Kenny Pickett can really turn into anything, even though nobody else really does, nobody else in the whole league thinks
I guess that was Kevin's guy. From
Yeah,
what everybody's saying, that is Kevin's guy.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't be less enthusiastic about. Just when I think I couldn't be less enthusiastic about Kenny Pickett, we get Dylan Gabriel in the 3rd round.
And by the way, Brian, he is 5'10", 204 pounds.
And you saw the clip going around about him saying how he hates playing in cold weather. He wishes every NFL game would just be in a dome.
Perfect. Bring that kid in here. That's awesome.
Yeah, we gotta have. Hey, let's get him in the 3rd round. Even though everyone else says he's a 6th round pick, we have to have this guy. We're smarter than everybody else. So let's just take him, and we're going to give him every opportunity to prove to the rest of the NFL that we're smarter than everybody.
And the thing is, though, Brian, is what cracks me up about this is, like, Oregon's offense. It's a lot of dink and dunk plays, and they try to, spread you out. You still had, and I'm not saying they should have drafted Will Howard. I'm not saying they should have drafted, the fucking guy from Syracuse. Got to keep forgetting his name already.
McCord.
Yeah, McCord. But at least with Will Howard, he is 6'4", 225. At least with McCord, he is 6'2", 230. There's a difference between, and plus, he's not left-handed. Gabriel's left-handed, so they have to revamp this whole offense for him being left-handed. What?
I tell you, it will keep me up at night. One or 11 months from now, when the Browns have to choose our real franchise quarterback in next year's draft. It'll keep me up at night. I'm just going to wake up in a cold sweat saying Dylan Gabriel, and they think he's the best quarterback or the 3rd best quarterback in the draft. I think it came out today that their rankings, and he was ahead of Milroe, even though Milroe went a couple picks ahead of him. Mm-hmm. According to the Browns, even if Milroe was there, they're still going Dylan Gabriel. So all right. I don't know. I feel bad bagging on this guy. It's not his fault. He got drafted 2-3 rounds ahead of where he should have. He probably doesn't even want to be in Cleveland. He said he wants to play in a warm climate, so he doesn't want to be here. Fans don't really want him here. But I feel like the Browns are just going to shove him down our throat, and he's going to get the benefit of the doubt that Shedeur Sanders might not get.
And we'll find out when we do our top 3 here at the end. One last thing before we move on to our Fat Boy Tuesday, Brian. What did you think of the prank phone call to Shedeur Sanders with the Saints GM going, yeah, we're going to pick you here, but you're going to wait a little bit, and then click? What the hell was that, man? That is some messed up shit.
I'm telling you, I think it was an embarrassment for whoever his dad. His dad had to be embarrassed as all get out, and he probably thought it was hilarious. But yeah, I mean, should be grounded for a long time after that one, I would think.
I'd be more than grounded. I mean, I'm surprised they did not fire him from the coaching staff of the Atlanta Falcons.
Yeah, it's probably one strike against him for sure.
Hmm. Yeah, I would probably kill my kid if that happened. Well, I can't say that because I love him too much. But
You take
there
their
be
phone away for a very long time. That's what I would
there
do.
be
I'd be
is
like, all right,
well the
ask
thing
me
is
again after next draft. You might get
the
a
kid
phone.
the kid was 21 years old, Brian. We've all made stupid mistakes at 21 years
Oh,
old,
for sure.
but
Right, but
just
not when you're
damn,
not messing with your dad's work. I
no,
couldn't imagine the
no,
butt
God no.
whooping I would take if I was messing with my dad's work. Holy cow!
Ugh. All right, let's get into Fat Boy Tuesday because we missed it last week. All right. Final grade on this draft, right? I mean, I give them a solid B. I'm still questionable about the quarterbacks, but I think the other guys that they drafted, I think it's a really good draft for them. What do you think?
I say B plus. And I might even go to A minus if I had a ton of confidence in whoever was making our first round pick next year. That might move up a little bit, but yeah, I mean, had I told you, hey, you're going to get Shador Sanders. If I told you Wednesday, you get Shador Sanders, you can get Mason Graham, and you're going to get a first round pick for next year's draft, and you're going to get Judkins, and you're going to get the SEC Player of the Year, and you're going to get Harold Phantom Jr., who had a lot of buzz in this area. No, you probably say an A.
Yeah, yeah,
But we get bogged down with, well, we didn't get Travis Hunter, or that stupid pick for Dylan Gabriel. We get bogged down with that stuff. I think if you take a step back and you look at it as a whole, yeah, I think B plus is pretty solid.
like I don't understand. Did they not learn their lesson with 5-foot quarterbacks over the years?
No,
I mean,
apparently they haven't.
okay.
So I'm telling you, it scares the crap out of me for next year.
Oh my God. All right, let's get into Fat Boy Tuesday. Let's talk some birthday cakes, buddy. All right.
Yep.
And now, it's time for Fat Boy Tuesday.
All right, because my birthday was and Justin said Hunter's overrated. We'll see. Everybody had Hunter.
Travis Hunter.
Yeah.
Well, last thing, and it just came to my mind, and just to bag on Dylan Gabriel just a little bit more, and it's not his fault, but the Browns could have had the number one center in the draft with his pick. He went, I think, one pick after Dylan Gabriel. You know, the number one center from Georgia at that spot, and we took a guy who, at best, is a backup quarterback. Like, I know Andrew Berry and Kevin Stefanski are so much smarter than me. Like, we're not even close to the same level. But then they do something like that, and I'm like, this kid's from Georgia. He's played the top talent in the entire college football, and he's ranked the number one center at his position. You can get him at 90 whatever, and you want this 5'11" quarterback. All right, I'm sorry. I had to get that off my chest. That's
yes,
terrible.
there's the Bri I love. Bring it on, Bri. I love it. Oh my God. And also, the kid from Ohio State that transferred from Alabama got undrafted and picked up by, I believe, the Bengals. McLaughlin.
Who's that? What position?
Center. He was the number one center before Georgia guy, but he got hurt. His knee. He blew out his knee, and he's rehabbing now to come back.
So he was at Georgia and he transferred to Ohio State.
No, he was at Alabama and he transferred.
Or at Alabama and transferred to Ohio. That's right.
State.
I remember because he was the guy against Michigan who couldn't snap it back to Milroe and kept dribbling it on the ground. And then was he a center for Ohio State or did he switch to guard?
No, he was a center for Ohio State, and then he blew out his knee, and then that's when we had to get a new center in. But yeah, that he got undrafted and picked up, I believe, by the Bengals, which go figure. Another Ohio State center going to the Cincinnati Bengals.
Well, hey, we got an Ohio State center. Maybe they're high on Whippler, and we just don't know it.
Yeah,
that would be positive, right?
That would be a positive.
Sure.
All right, we gotta get moving. We gotta get into some birthday cakes. We're already like an hour into this, Bri, and I want to talk some birthday cakes with you. because I want to know, like, for me personally, like, birthday cake, I'm at the age now where, right, it doesn't matter. Like, you can get me a cake, you don't get me a cake, I don't care. Like, whatever, it is what it is. Now, my wife ended up picking me up an ice cream cake, which I'm going to say it on here, Brian, I'm not a fan of ice cream cakes.
Oh, no.
No. It's not that I won't eat them. I'm just not a fan.
Sure.
Like,
Okay.
my ideal birthday cake, if I had to pick it, would be just a pineapple upside down cake, which is one of my favorite cakes of all cakes. But she
Is that a
couldn't find
birthday cake, though?
It's not a birthday cake, but that's my kind of cake
Okay.
that I want. Okay.
Your favorite cake. Gotcha.
Yeah. So, but if I want to do a birthday cake, though, like, are you a marble guy? Are you vanilla? Are you a chocolate cake? And
Well,
what kind of
let me-
frosting are you wanting?
Let me say my favorite cake is probably a carrot cake. That's probably my number one cake. Like just cake. That's all we're talking. No ice cream, no nothing. Yeah. But I like a good ice cream cake. Problem is sometimes they get too hard. You can't even cut. You're about to break a knife
Yeah.
trying to cut these things. But my favorite birthday cake is one my aunt makes, and it's just yellow cake with chocolate frosting. And and then you get a little vanilla ice cream with it for birthdays. Yeah, it gets no better than that for me.
So my mom makes a chocolate cake with peanut butter icing.
Ooh, that sounds good.
And it's fantastic, Brian. I'm not gonna lie, it is fantastic. But like, if I had to pick like a true birthday cake, if somebody was making me a birthday cake, Brian, I would probably have to do like an angel food cake with like the strawberry glaze and stuff on the inside. You know what I'm saying? Like the big fluff cake with the white icing on around it.
I think they're called casata. My wife loves them. Casata cakes, maybe. That
Yeah,
might be
that's
something close to it. Is that it?
Close to it, where you got like a strawberry glaze that goes over to like
Mm-hmm.
strawberry. Yeah. But if anything, Bri, the best cake that I have had is either a pineapple upside down cake or cheesecake. I fucking love cheesecake.
I'm not a big fan of cheesecake, although I do. The only time I ever get cheesecake is at the Cheesecake Factory when they have like 30 different options, and I can usually find one that I like, and it's delicious. Don't get me wrong, but like just a plain piece of cheesecake, I'm probably sitting that out.
Okay, well, you gotta get it made right.
Have you ever any cakes from local bakeries or grocery stores that you want to shout out? That's pretty good.
The Giant Eagle here by our house here in North Homestead. They're amazing when they do it. Love their stuff. Also, Fragapans. They don't do them.
Is that by you?
Yeah.
What city?
Yeah, it's in North Homestead. It's down towards Stearns and Lorraine. But they have a bakery there, and can't go wrong with that. And of course, Brian, we got the Baskin Robbins and the Dairy Queen right down the street. So, you know, Dairy Queen, even though I don't, Brian, it's not that I don't like ice cream cake. It's the point that I have to be in the mood for ice cream cake. Is that bad?
Oh, no, everybody's got their own thing. There's nothing wrong with it. Yeah, I'm sure if I put a piece of ice cream cake in front of you, you'll eat it. But you know, there's just other ones you like more.
Yeah, like I got to be like when she brought it out, she's like, "Oh, here's an ice cream cake." I'm like, "Oh, thank you, honey." I blew up my candle, and then she's like, "You want a piece?" I'm like, "Not right now. I'm not feeling it right now." And it's just like,
what a slap in the face.
No, and she was fine because her and the boys kind of crushed everything. But it was just like one of those things. Like I appreciate everything she did for me on my birthday, of course. But it's just like, and she even went to like. She told me she went to like 4 stores to try to find me a pineapple upside down cake.
Oh no!
Because she's like, I can't even make one in that amount of time and everything else. I'm like, honey, it's okay. It's just it's not like it's a milestone birthday. It's just another birthday. Like I'm not at that age now where like it matters. But like I know the kids, man, when they get a cake, they want a cake and they have to split the cake. So it's like one's half vanilla, one's half chocolate.
Always with twins, I'm sure they like different things.
But the great thing
have
is,
you-
though, is the
Go ahead.
buttercream icing.
Is that from where?
No, that's from anywhere. If you get anything made,
Oh, yeah.
icing, you can't get anything else but buttercream.
That's what they have. Have you ever tried Sam's Club cake? Are you a member of
No.
Sam's Club?
No, I
Try
have
it.
not had Sam's Club or Costco or any of those. I'm going to have to try those, but
I don't know about Costco. I don't think I've ever had Costco, but my wife swears by Sam's Club cake, and I've had it. It's very good. I think maybe even our wedding cake was from Sam's Club.
shut up. That's awesome.
Yeah. So, I mean, really good. I mean, you get one of those fancy ones out there and you cut like into a small one and then you just have sheet cakes in the back. So that's the trick of the trade. Half the time they're too drunk to really even taste it or even want to eat a piece. I usually don't eat cake at a wedding. I'll tell you that much.
I normally don't eat cake at a wedding either. At that point in time, Brian, I'm all about appetizers. They got finger foods out. I'm hitting those like all day.
Even after dinner, you go back for appetizers?
Depends on how many bush lattes I've had. You know, if they got some finger food out there, I'm going to go back and get it.
Oh, I mean, the best thing ever invented is probably like the food truck that comes out at 10 o'clock at night at a wedding.
Oh,
It's
God.
the best thing ever.
Yeah, we didn't
Did
have
you
that.
hear that?
Yeah,
That was
you got
thunder.
you got some
Did you
crap
hear
coming
that?
to you. Yeah.
Scared the crap out of me over there. Like, what did I just see? A giant flash? Okay. We're good.
Hey, by the way, it's Dylan Gabriel coming to tell you that you're wrong.
Oh yeah. I'll drop kick that little twerp to the curb. See, it sounds like I hate him. I don't hate the guy. I got nothing against the guy. We just sort of drafted him in the 6th round. I'd probably be excited about him.
Oh God, I love this. Brian, you just hate every quarterback that's under 6 foot. It's okay.
I don't know if I hate them. I just don't. I mean, Drew Brees is the anomaly. Like when people say, "Oh, let's just wait till the 6th round to draft Tom Brady." You know, Tom Brady was drafted in the 6th round. Let's just wait till the 6th round. No, he's the anomaly. He's the one guy. Drew Brees is the one guy 6 foot and under. You know, when they start talking about Aaron Rodgers and Joe Flacco at 40 years old, I'm like, just because one guy did it, Tom Brady, doesn't mean that's the new thing. Everyone's going to be playing like LeBron James at 40 years old. Nobody else is going to be that good at 40 years old.
No, they're anomalies.
All right. Well, I got to run. We might have tornado sirens here.
Okay, so we will save the top 3. Can I do the trivia real quick before you go?
Yep.
All right, so Joe Thomas,
Yeah. Yep. He was one.
Trent Richardson,
Yep. I actually forgot about Joe Thomas. So there's 2 more. Trent Richardson, Joe Thomas, both. Yes. Number 3.
and then Braylon Edwards.
Yep. One
All
more.
right.
Clean sweep.
All right, clean sweep. One more.
2001.
Oh my God, 2001. Was it a running back? No, it was not a running
Nope.
back. Wasn't Courtney Brown.
Yeah.
All right, you got to go. All right,
Courtney Brown. Gerard Warren was number 3 the year after
Big-
Courtney Brown.
big money Gerard Warren. All right, brother. I love you.
God bless you. God bless America.
See you. All right. Hopefully everything is all right with Brian down there in Medina. Thank you everybody for watching. He gave you the God bless you. Please go check out City Dogs Cleveland for any adoptable dog that you would like. Also, if you cannot adopt, volunteer, donate, do whatever you can. Justin, James, everybody here in the comments, thank you guys so much for joining us tonight. And like I always say at the end of the show, we're definitely uncorked, unloaded. We're out. We'll see you guys next Tuesday. Have a great night.